So let's look at creating a manual ad at this point. And I'm only going to get into one, so we'll continue this next week. So when you do manual targeting, this means you're going to specifically tell Amazon where you want your book to appear for ads. And there's multiple ways that we can actually do this. So the default way is keyword targeting. So we've talked about keywords quite a bit. And we've talked about it for your title of your book, and that you want to, whatever the most search for kind of keyword searches, you want to kind of incorporate that into the actual title of your book, because that is the best way to capture it. You also need to put in 7 keyword phrases when you're creating your KDP book listing. So it'll have 7 slots for keyword searches. So here again, those same kind of keyword searches, you can run an ad to appear on this. So let me put this in a hierarchy for you though. So let's say you've got a book on doing your 2022 tax return, let's just say. So people are going to be searching for 2022 taxes, right? That's going to be like the most popular search. So I made sure in my book title and the subtitle, I've got file your 2022 taxes and get a huge refund, right? So it's in my title. Now I can run an Amazon ad for that same phrase, and I can put that into my KDP book listing in the appropriate keyword search spot. So as far as results, when somebody does a result, the book with it in the title is going to show up first or maybe second. Second if an ad, sponsored title comes up first. But if it's in your title, you really don't need to run an ad because you're going to come up. However, if it's only in your keyword searches, you'll come up, but there's no guarantee where you're going to come up. You could come up on the 2nd page, the 3rd page, 5th page. And especially if you don't have a lot of sales yet, Amazon's going to push it down that list. So even though you may have the same keyword terms in your KDP listing, it's still a good idea to run an ad for those keyword searches. So any questions on that? You're good? You're clear? Okay. So now, Amazon, when you come down here, so here's your keyword targeting, and Amazon's actually suggesting a whole bunch of things, again, based off of the title of the book and the keyword searches I've already given it. So from its understanding of what the book is, it's giving me a whole bunch of suggestions here on terms that I could use to sell the book. And actually, most of these are pretty good. But some of them are not. Every moment holy, this has nothing at all to do with my book. And some of these, like devotional, are just way too broad, that it's going to be effective, weight loss, way too broad, God, it's way too broad, Christian books, women, maybe, so, I mean, you can look through here, and if you find something that makes sense, sugar detox, say, you can just add it. And it breaks it down into exact, phrase, and broad. What does this mean? So exact is what you would think. It means somebody types in sugar detox exactly. And when somebody does that exact term, your ad will show up. A phrase means that they use sugar detox in a phrase. So, for example, they might put in books about sugar detox. So if you select phrase, then your ad will appear on that search as well. So I do suggest you use exact and phrase. Broad, probably not, because a broad basically means if Amazon thinks they're looking for something like a sugar detox, but they didn't actually say sugar detox, then they'll still show your ad, right? So it's using its algorithms, to make an assumption. And I mean, it could be right. They could be doing a sugar fast, and that's basically the exact same thing. And so it shows your ad, but it can often just, again, give you, poor results because it's showing it something that's just too broad or unrelated or doesn't actually make any sense. So typically I'd advise don't do the broad, leave the broad off, focus on the, exact in the phrase. And you'll see those appeared over here now. Oh, and Amazon already put in amounts for them. So we don't want Amazon doing that because let's say I don't want to pay 96 cents. That's too much money. So we can set a default bid here. So in this case, you actually have to click the little arrow and choose default bid, and okay, 45 cents. So this doesn't change. So I have to manually change this one. But if I pick anything else, it'll now stick to that 45 cents. So you'll see it came up 45 cents now. So you can go through this list Amazon gives you and choose stuff you like, or you can also remove broad here as well, and then it just doesn't even show it up. Or you can just create your own list. And hopefully, if you've been going through this program, you already have a list of keyword phrases ready to go. You've done your research. You've maybe used Publisher Rocket or whatever, but you have a whole bunch of keyword searches results that you're going to type in here. So things like sugar fast, and as you're typing them in too, assuming you type them in correctly. So Amazon, you'll see drop down here. So Amazon's telling you what are some of the most common searches for when people do this type of search. So 40 Days Sugar Fast by Wendy Speake, which is our major competition for this book. So yes, put that in. Unfortunately, it doesn't keep that list there, which is unfortunate. But you can just do a copy paste here, wait for it to come up, do that one, do that one. And you can just throw in as many variations as you want here. And you can put in 100, 200, 300, you could. But I would suggest keeping your Amazon ads narrow and focused, especially when you're first starting off. Because again, it's really about getting an understanding of what works, what gives you a really good return on investment, and what doesn't. And I'm going to show you in later training how to go in and exactly see what search terms gave you what return on investment. But so it's not that you won't have the data, you will get the data, but the issue happens if you have a whole lot here. The more you have here, the more chances that some of them will never get used. Amazon will just favor certain ones and not even bother with the other ones. And so then you'll have search terms that you were hoping the book's showing for, and it doesn't. So, in order to really be sure that your book is showing up, you're better off just using small groups of search terms and just doing a whole bunch of different ads. And you could do them over time, or you could do them all at once, whatever you're comfortable with, but running a bunch of smaller ads with fewer terms, so you can really kind of really make sure that it's getting shown on those search terms that you want. And you can really easily see what the results are, and whether you're getting a good return on investment or not for that. So this would be how you do a manual search. You could upload a list of search terms if you have it in like a CSV. You have an option to doing that. But mostly just typing them in. I will show you a technique that you could do this on a where you would use this later. But right now, I'm just trying to keep it simple for you. So this is a simple way to just, get it in front of, these search terms, and then you put in your text here. It should display the ad for you here. Again, fixed bids. Always just go to fixed bids initially. You're going to want to title it. So now this one is a manual, and I'm going to just say detox fast, because those are the terms that I'm using for this. And put the date here, or I could, because I used text as opposed to just the title alone, I'll put text, and there we go. And then I can launch this. So let me launch this one so you guys can see what happens. And boom. So it says it's successfully launched, but it's not live. It goes first to Amazon, and somebody will manually approve it. So it says 72 hours. It's usually a lot less than that. But it might take 12 hours. I'd say it's probably more typical before somebody manually reviews it and approves it. So of course, if somebody's reviewing it, it could mean that they may not approve it. And why would they not approve an ad? There are a few things that Amazon does not allow, specifically unwarranted claims. So if you're doing a book about weight loss, you cannot say guaranteed to lose weight. They will not approve that ad. Or lose 50 pounds, they won't run that ad. Or even if you say, we lost 50 pounds, well, they can't substantiate that. They're not going to allow that in the ad. Same thing for, financial claims for, if you're doing a book on finances. So anything that seems like you're suggesting a certain result is going to happen, they will generally disallow. So, avoid that kind of terminology, and instead just focus on, talking to your audience's pain points and perking their interest, and then getting them to click to your book. Because you can say stuff in your description that you can't put in the ad here. So you have more leeway in your actual book description than you do on the 150 character of this ads.